Welcome back to Puff Drink Talk podcast. I'm Hilton.
I'm George.
And I'm Arthur.
And Arthur, thank you for coming in today. We're still short of a member. Probably he's back already, but we record episodes and release them, so I'm not sure. Conrad's not here. Good thoughts to you and enjoying your vacation, Conrad.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. And we're gonna talk about a little bit about sports today. So let's do a sports subject. So
we all enjoy sports in general. We have a past, all connected to sports, right?
Yeah, and we have an athlete in the room.
And have an athlete in the room. Yeah. So different perspectives, same country, but different perspectives, different experiences, different choices of sports too, like the ones we like the most, right?
Oh yeah.
We have a few that we enjoy in common, right? Which is Formula One.
Okay, good question.
Yes.
What is my sport of choice is racing cars, right? So car racing. So Formula One being the pinnacle of car racing, but I enjoy anything car racing. So what is your sport?
That's a tough question. I would mention three. I need to mention three. Tennis, because I play tennis. Soccer, because I grew up playing soccer. I grew up watching soccer, and I just love to play it too. And racing. I grew up I didn't have that many opportunities to race, but I've loved watching it, and every single time I raced, I loved it. So I gotta mention those three.
I played soccer, of course, it's got to be there. It's almost in our DNA, or at least I wouldn't say DNA. Just, I think it's part of our culture, It's accessible to anyone. So I grew up with my friends playing. Basketball is something that I also played, and I love it. So I like the high scores. I like the short court, crowded. I just enjoyed especially European basketball. The passion, the nature of the sport, right? And I also follow other sports. It's a Formula One, definitely more Formula One than all the others. I'm not a big fan of other categories, right? But man, it's tennis now. I'm so involved with so many students. It's a passion that I can't play tennis, but I'm learning. Yesterday, actually, I played my first pickleball practice, I would say, right? I practiced for the first time.
Should we change pickleball to baby tennis?
Baby tennis? Man, we are... Okay, see...
Like we call baby all the,
I think people have a wrong understanding of pickleball is, for one main reason. When we watch all the other sports, we've already seen history. We have the history. We have high level competitions. We only watch the top of the top, almost not unhuman people playing all the other sports. So it's plastic. It's unhuman. And then when you see pickleball, it's a 85-year-old playing the sport. We don't see huge competitions because I can tell you. You can say about squash and about other sports. When you see world level people playing squash, you are absolutely dazzled by the speed, by the way they move. Why? Because you're exposed to that. So we kind of judge pickleball based on our own prejudices and a macho idea that it has to be contact. And that's it. I think it came to stay. I'm sorry, UTR Sports have created a ranking for them. I don't know if you like it or not. You just have to accept it's going to be very popular for decades.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's a very accessible sport, and that's the magic of pickleball. It's so accessible, everybody can play, and that's why I think it's becoming so popular, because it's just a more accessible version of tennis. I love tennis. I'm biased to say anything. But still, it's so hard to play. An 80-year-old would never play tennis. 80-year-old could play pickleball, and I still I would like to mention that I believe pickleball is already going to the point that like we're gonna see a lot of big tournaments. Like I don't know if you follow Jack Sock, an ex professional tennis player. He's playing pickleball at a level that it's insane, you know. So it's already growing the tournaments and all that, but I still believe it's way more accessible because it's easy to play, and that's the magic of it. And it's a nice sport. It's just a nice sport.
One thing that in squash, because I play squash. Like, for example, I didn't mention, like my sport of choice is like anything racing because that's how I started it. When I was 13, 14 years old, I started racing karts, and it's amateur, but at the same time, it's the professional karts, not the karts that you go and race that you can just rent and then go. It's completely different beast, and it's much faster. And that's the thing. Is like my second sport would be squash because I love playing squash. Squash is easy or much easier to play than tennis. It's a difficult sport to master because precision is very important in squash. But if you're playing someone in your level, you can have 1 hour game. Then when you leave the court, you go like, I put my workout in the same way that a professional put their workout in. Because a professional will move, well, first, the ball is coming much faster, it's much more difficult, but, they are at the level. They are prepared for that because they trained for it. So, and pickleball, it's the same thing. I mean, you can see an 80 years old playing tennis if they're playing another 80 years old on the other side, and they're like, hey, let's play a smaller court. I mean, the ball is going to come is lower. And if they have some sort of the same level, they can kind of play. And when I mean play, it's almost like what the word play is. It's like having fun. So you can have fun, playing tennis if you're very old. But at the same time, why do that if there is pickleball now, right? So it makes sense.
Consider in China, right? They have this massive crowd of people doing Tai Chi early in the morning. It's free, it's cheap, they are moving. We are mostly watching sports instead of practicing and doing the sports, So I think pickleball will take people out. You say, hey, you can also play that, So I understand how picky tennis players are. They are like stealing courts. But you got to understand it's a privilege to have so many courts, And then when you have your own courts, as we saw it, 4 people, we occupy 1/4. One half of it. 4 people occupy just half of a tennis court. When real estate is so expensive, then you can put it on the roof of a building. You can have like 3-4 courts. You know what I'm saying? The way the society is going, we are adapting the sports. Like we are getting to 100 years of the sports. Like the Olympics, like 100 and something years, right? So now people are having access to different options. So I think it's just adaptation. People are living longer. They have to move, and you create a sport that it's easy for all of them practice, just like walking. It's just as easy as walking, or almost just as easy as walking,
Yeah, and I believe, I agree with the fact that you said that, 80-year-old could play tennis against an 80-year-old, but I feel like maybe my point was that an 80-year-old who never played tennis, I don't think he could ever start playing tennis.
No.
But an 80-year-old who never played pickleball, I believe they could play pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel so where George was going is pickleball is actually you can go there and you can play, so you're motivating people to get out of their houses and actually go to the court and play. Where tennis, you're okay, I'm never going to be able to learn, so why am I going to even try? So that's a good thing because we know we're in a world that it's getting more obese and, we need to be more healthy. So being able to actually have a sport that motivates you and you're okay, I can learn how to do that. It's very rewarding. And I think George can talk about it. He was amazing yesterday. he never hold a racket in 5-10 years. Yeah. And after one session, he was already playing really good. So
did he score any points?
Yeah, no, he could make some points. I think if we played a real game, we could actually play. I'd bet him because of course,
yeah. Let's not pretend, because he only moaned one time. So I know, like when the tennis players moan, okay, now he put effort into that. That was the first time. So he did like 3 times. I said, okay, so I got my 3 moanies.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so like, it's just amazing to see like a guy who maybe played like sports with a racket like 10 times in his life in a single session, like being able to actually play with like maybe 4 or 5 tips I gave him. So I feel that's a magic of pickleball, and that's like where sports should be going from now on. Like at least like creating a version of the sport that is more accessible to people and make people actually want to play it.
And what about? Well, there's always going to be differences between when you get like age and then you put for comparison, right? Another sport that some people don't even classify as a sport, but it kind of is golf, right? So golf also is not age restrictive, right? Because you can have, if an 80 years old, it's body healthy that they can swing a club, right? It's not going to go as far as a 19-year-old because, the movement of the body, will move faster. So the swing is going to be faster. So therefore, the ball is going to go further. So that's why you see, Tiger Woods these days playing very accuracy, perfect and stuff. And, Roy, playing as accuracy, it's awesome. But the younger players, they will score better just because their ball are going further. So therefore, the second shot, the third shot, it's like how many times you miss, right? So they miss less because they're getting closer and closer every single shot from the very initial first hit to the ball, the driver. So it's kind of another sport that you see just because I'm getting into playing golf. I played golf 4 times. Now I'm a 4-time golf player. And yeah, like for example, I played on a championship for a charity event. And so Dan Dowdy, he plays since he was 15 years old. So he's been playing for 30 years, right? No, not 30 years. No, he's 45, right? So he can hit the ball, and he's healthy, right? So he can hit the ball much further. And then I had a few shots that I actually, had a good hit, but we had to play his ball. He was playing a scramble. So my ball went straight a couple of times. Out of, I don't know, 60 times we hit the ball, And there was actually one shot that we played, the ball that I played, because it went straight and it was like a shorter par, like it was a par 3. So normally from the green, from the tip, you can hit the green, and my ball was shorter to the hole, so we played from my ball, which make me feel really nice. It's the same as George putting like a parallel and then making him moan, right? Which is kind of like that. It's like if the distance is not a problem, right? Anybody of any age can play, and then like even though I'm turning 50 this year, but
big party.
The ball hit the spot that needed. So golf is another sport also that is all age, but it's not as accessible as pickleball. It can be accessible if you buy cheap equipment and whatnot, but pickleball is it's like that. It's public course that can just go and play, and it costs equipment will cost like between $40 and $100.
You can literally like buy a net, buy the rackets, get something to draw lines.
Yeah, draw lines on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground, and you can play like on your driveway if you want.
Yeah, in a car park. Yeah,
it's so easy to play. In golf, like you need to go to the club, you need to go to the country club maybe, or you gotta go to the golf course.
And we know how exclusive it is. But I want a camera on me. I want the spotlight now.
Okay.
I'm announcing here the rise of the rackets. We have several personalities, world famous players such as Ronaldo Nazario and Cristiano Ronaldo investing massively in their racket games. I'm talking about paddle. I'm talking about pickleball, and in Brazil it's very popular now. The beach tennis, right? So, and also the sheer investment on tennis. We know that Ronaldo is doing it. I've been following. Of course, the algorithm has been following because my business is related to tennis, right? So all the algorithm is showing me how many people are actually building and building courts and building schools, building academies. So you can say that there is a huge, especially here in the U.S., like the number of people playing the sports or watching the sports is huge. There's a massive investment in the United States and in Brazil. So of course this racket, so that's why I call that, right? I'm not the first one, of course not, but in this podcast I was the first one to call it.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, no, I'd like talking about. I'm gonna be honest. Talking about golf is I'm biased because it's a sport I played maybe like 2 or 3 times. So I want to get more into it. I just I'm biased because I love the sport. I feel like the networking capability that golf has, and being there and talking to other people, and I don't know, I just love that sport. I feel it's an amazing sport. But I agree with George. I believe racket sports are growing, especially because we have very accessible versions of it. Beach tennis, come on, beach tennis is amazing. The fact that you can tennis is a sport known for silence and being all dressed up. Wimbledon, you had to play all in white. So it's just tennis is known for not being accessible. Then you go to a beach tennis tournament and you're playing music. You have food trucks. You have you can play the sport
yelling.
Yeah, it's so different. The vibe is different, and I feel that's the nice part of it. We're making this sport more likable. Tennis is hard. A lot of people, they don't like tennis because you cannot cheer. Literally, I've seen the amount of times I've seen professional tennis players talking about the fact that people cheering for them was a problem for them.
Yes.
They saying oh, you shouldn't be doing that. So I feel those new sports like pickleball, beach tennis, paddle is not that new of a sport, but
what was that?
It's not very
it's
new.
not that new.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
It's kind of an old sport,
Yeah.
especially in Europe. It's very, very famous in
But
Europe.
the investments now are
So
huge.
I just like the fact that we're opening a new range of sports and being more welcome to people. So, which I also believe, talking about golf, I believe it will happen at some point. We gotta make golf more accessible too, especially the tournaments. I don't know, you probably follow golf a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, I've seen the debates about oh, you cannot make any noise, you cannot cheer much, and all that. So maybe there's gonna be some kind of a different perspective on golf, that it's gonna be a different tournament, and we're gonna have a new perspective. Who knows? So
And it happens in tennis, right? Because you see, I shout out to João Seolin. He was a student and now it's a friend. He plays tennis, right? And the competition he plays at, there's actually organized crowds, and you can cheer. There's music playing. It's super exciting. It's a different competition, right? But it's exciting.
I think the problem with the concentration, it's so if you imagine, if there is a lot of talk, if there is a lot of cheering, it really does not affect the player if it's constant, right?
Mm-hmm.
When everybody kind of comes down because a serve is going to be played, or a swing in the golf is going to be played. If somebody talks on the backswing, it kind of distracts the player because he has the silent, and then so the concentration of the shot, it's now with that environment. But if they're just having a conversation and people just talking, doesn't matter. If there is no stop on the talk or the cheer or anything,
good point.
you can concentrate, and your backswing is not going to be affected by the noise because your concentration level is a little bit different. So in golf and tennis, very, very similar situations. It's the same thing. It's you are allowed to clap after
Yep.
the point, right? And then you clap and whatnot, but not during the point itself, because the silent, it makes the concentration. Well, the silent is part of the concentration of the game, right? So, but if you have like party going, like volleyball, beach volleyball, the 2 against 2. Also, just go put a net and then you play on the beach, right? The crowd is going and playing music. Soccer is the same thing, like football, the same thing. Like, you go here to Austin FC, it's
organized.
There is
fans.
a samba.
Yeah.
There is a samba band playing, during the entire match. It doesn't matter, if the goalkeeper is gonna kick the ball or if there is a penalty. No, it never stops. So the noise is part of the silence.
Yeah.
That the player has a concentration point.
No, I completely agree with you. I feel like those sports, they have that kind of silence because, it's like you cannot clap on my serve. If you clap on my serve, I'm probably like going to go and punch you. Like, I don't want you to do that. Or
once you throw the ball in the air, you need the silence, unless the silence wasn't there before.
Unless it's constant.
And it affects every sport. Think about that. How many times we've seen in Formula One radios, the driver, hey man, I'm trying to drive. Like the mechanics.
Don't talk to me when I'm turning.
The mechanics are like speaking non-stop. And hey, buddy, I'm trying to drive the car.
But the driver has the noise of the engine constantly. It does not that does not affect him at all.
Yeah,
actually helps, right?
Well,
so to feel the noise, to know the car,
exactly.
to know, like, you need to do that. Think about Ayrton Senna. He knew it, like, something is wrong. Pistol number 8 is wrong because he could say that. He could listen to that.
And don't take me wrong, like, I'm not saying we should like completish banish all like traditional sports. No, I believe like golf needs to be as it is. Like I don't want to like like just end everything. But I also believe, creating those new lines, and it's going to be helpful.
We just mentioned that, right? We don't want it Monaco to be a part of the circuit anymore because it's going to be a show. It's a show. It could be a show on its own. It could attract, as you mentioned here, veterans. It could be the legacy. It could be so many interesting things that we could attract and do that. But
just to mention that to the viewers there, it's like Monaco should not be a race. And at the same time, I would hate if there was not a Monaco race.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, I want Monaco to be there. I just also think that it shouldn't. Because there is no overtaking, and all you're expecting is somebody to crash and a safety car to come to see a different outcome on the race.
On the other hand, you are dazzled by all the curves and how close it's almost art.
Yeah,
the car is like less than a finger from the guardrails.
It's literally my favorite race and my least favorite race at the same time.
Exactly.
It's amazing to see like the cars like a millimeter away from the guardrail, but it's also. It sucks because if there is no safety car, it's going to be a train. Yeah. It's going to be a trail of cars. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's my thing. With that race does not fit in the Formula One calendar the same way we want that race to still exist. So it's almost like, hey, it should always have a Monaco race and all the tracks that actually have the same sort of aspect, to the race itself, so that it's a different entertaining sport. I'm like, precise racing instead of, I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. When you practice, it's got to be, you have silence everywhere all the time, or you always have someone like during your Division 3, which is, I think it brings a good sample of what the silence and noise is. So how are your trains?
So
you're practicing.
Like practice?
Yeah, practice.
Silence. It is like if there's like tennis itself, if I'm playing tennis, I want silence. I don't want anybody screaming. So especially in college tennis, not only D3, D1, D2, D3 or NAIA and CAA, all everywhere around the US. There is like this culture of people screaming and supporting for each other, like because you're a team. And that sucks. I hate it because I want the silence. I don't want people screaming on my ear every single point because tennis is played like that in my mind, So it's just different. You got to adapt for it. So it's hard. It's hard.
Was
to
it the
adapt.
same in Brazil, back in Brazil? Because you played it for
No.
a pretty good club, right?
So yeah, we used to have no competitions of like club competitions. So like we'd never be a team. At least from like maybe I would play 20 to 30 tournaments per year. There was one per year where we would be a team, and it still would not have that much noise. So I hate the noise. I'm gonna be honest. I hate the noise. I need the silence. Otherwise, I'm gonna like.
But that's because you practice with silence. If let's say if you do not practice with silence when it comes to the championship, silence is not part of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. If we're practicing without silence, it'll be like we're learning to practice without the silence.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're
And
gonna be
then-
like, okay, I can
And
play with
there
it.
is practice and
Yeah.
there is practice. For example, in soccer, okay, you mentioned Austin FC, that they have organized fans, right? So one thing to do is like when you're practicing like a game, like when you really you're practicing closer to the environment of a game. I think it would be great if the band is there practicing too.
Yeah, but
You
it's
know?
in silence because there's only the players and then some of the technical people that they're shouting and giving instructions and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
So-
but that's what I'm saying. Like if
It-
you are
but it-
simulating
yeah.
something that you want to be reproduced in the field, right? So
put speakers everywhere and then have the
Exactly.
crowd roar
but-
and
but- and then the perfect time for the band to practice too. You
to
know,
practice
like,
too. Yeah.
the band could be actually a weapon. Like it could be a
Oh,
weapon.
it's part of is
Yeah,
the 12th is the 12th
Yeah, exactly,
player.
12th player,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the 12th. So,
Yeah.
this is something like in this competition, tennis competition. They train, they got to train with the noise, like the
Yeah.
noise must be, the surprise, they yell.
Yeah.
You got to expose the player to a real experience
Yeah.
instead of, like creating a perfect scientific laboratory scenario that when you have to face the truth, no, people
You have a more of an advantage. Yeah.
People will try to find edges. Will try to find advantages. Like close to the law. Like they are going to expand as close as possible to break the rule, but they won't break it, and then until that they change
Well,
it.
soccer practice should have always like your adversary or your enemy kind of also there as you're practicing.
Yeah.
Because then a person be cursing all the players. You know what I mean? Like
Trash talk.
yeah, trash
So
talk.
you got a session for trash talk.
Yeah, you gotta have that, so that will give the competitive advantage, so that the person is not gonna be budged about it.
And trash talk are more common in some sports, especially if you have like contact when you're playing with the other. See, there is a camaraderie. I think in
Yeah.
tennis that you gotta respect.
Not college tennis.
Yeah. But
you trash talk.
but compare that to basketball.
Oh,
the
yeah.
players pushing you is like,
Yeah.
just like, like on your ear, telling you. I don't know
Yeah,
what they are
yeah.
telling you.
Yeah.
The level of trash talk that you can feel in some games. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but college tennis we do that. Like not like
you
to my
guys?
adversary,
Okay,
to my
oh.
but my teammates are gonna do it to my adversary.
Okay.
My opponent. So
All
I don't know. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I love the college experience, but I hate it. It's like Monaco. I love and I hate it.
There we go.
Yeah, it's like
you see that?
Yeah.
That's a good segue, and
Yes.
to say goodbye.
Goodbye,
Thank you
man.
very
Thank you.
much. Please like, comment, subscribe.
And find us on Spotify too. Yeah, give us a shout out there.
Yeah, follow.
Thanks.